Coming up, we have lots of Universal Orlando news to catch up on, so we are going to get to it. From different points around Central Florida, this is the Universal edition of the Diz Unplugged. This is episode 269 of the Diz Unplugged Universal Edition. The Diz Unplugged Universal Edition is brought to you by Dreams Unlimited Travel, experts at helping you plan the perfect Universal vacation. Visit them on the web at www.dreamsunlimitedtravel.com. Hello, everyone. Welcome to this week's episode of the Diz Unplugged Universal Edition. I'm your host, Craig Williams, and today I am joined by my co-host, Ryno.
Hello.
Welcome back, Ryno.
Hello. I don't know why I said hello again.
It's
just going to be 2-second cuts of you just cutting to me every time in this episode going, hello.
I pretty much, I'm at the point where I want you to hold up today's newspaper. Yeah. So that way we
Here's
can just...
my wrist. Here's my...
It's just to prove that you're actually here right now. And after the 5-6 week hiatus that was not purposeful in any ways, but it was I think I threw on Elaine that 1 week to talk about her trip here, and then after that it was other stuff, and then this and that, and then timing, and hey, but we have you back to talk about all the fun news of what's happening in the world of Universal right now, which ironically enough, none of this news is really fun.
I was just going to say, I was like,
there's some bits of fun in here, but really, I feel like annual pass holder days, getting excited about that is kind of a misnomer right now, considering most of the people visiting the parks right now are annual pass holders. So do we really need extra days to appreciate us?
I mean, it's like a me day, but at a theme park.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, sure. So, okay, let's not waste any time. Let's just get right into it, and we'll start going through the news of what we need to talk about. And the first thing that we're going to mention is that Universal's Epic Universe is now officially on pause. So the news of this is not a surprise at all. Obviously knew that even though they were still making progress on Epic Universe, that construction and such was taking a halt there. But then during the Comcast earnings report, the second quarter earnings report, they did mention specifically that Epic Universe was temporarily on pause right now because of the current situation, everything that Universal has faced in terms of the pandemic. And, it's right. The good news that came out of that earnings report is that Universal is, they're not doing awful like they were like they were last time around when everything was completely shut down. Things are starting to progress and look up now that the parks are reopened, and they're working at making money right now, so it's better than them being closed at all. But they have to take a serious look into the future, and part of that is Epic Universe being put on pause, and then of course layoffs continued to happen as well too with Universal after this earnings report, and that of course a lot of the layoffs are being murmured that it has to do with people who were on the team for Epic Universe, so that puts an even bigger question mark onto the state of Epic Universe as a whole. So if Epic Universe ever happens one day, it probably will not look like everyone was expecting it to, but it's all not very unexpected, I would say. It knew something was going to have to come somewhere. It's come down somewhere, and with all the progress and speed they've been making on the unannounced Jurassic Park roller coaster, it's like somewhere the ball was going to drop.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. I mean, Jurassic Park, they're probably like, hurry up and finish it as quick as you can before we have to cut whatever we have to cut. And they'll still have something they were in a good position, I guess, with that because they can still have something, during this downturn to be like, look, it's a slow time, but we've got brand new things that you can still come and visit. So they still had enough in the pipeline to like pull people in. But yeah, when this all happened, I was pretty much like, oh, that's going to go out the window. Maybe not forever. I'm not as hopeful as you that we'll ever see the other park, but I think they're in a better position than like, I don't think we'd ever see another Disney park. So, but Universal is different. Its company is structured differently, and they already bought the land, so they got to do something with it, right?
Yeah, and we're gonna see something someday. It's just what it looks like. If they're still just waiting to get past this, so Epic Universe can get back on track, then maybe Super Nintendo World stays a part of the plans for this new park, and then that has to be taken a little bit more seriously. But I could also see them going back to the drawing board and trying to squeeze Super Nintendo World back into Universal Studios Florida again, and try to get that going and get that rolling. But if they do want it over in Epic Universe, I think Epic Universe has to happen sooner than later. It might not even be called Epic Universe anymore after all of this. But
Yeah.
I'm kind of on the boat where I think that if anything happens with the Wizarding World of Harry Potter over there, that it's probably not going to be Fantastic Beasts anymore. Just because of, there's already enough going on in the world with J.K. Rowling, and then some of the actors that are in Fantastic Beasts that always don't have the best press. It seems like they'd be able to, any rumors floating around about that, they would be able to kind of walk those back and be like, nope, that was never something we were thinking about. And of course, it's all rumors. All of this is kind of based on the concept art, and then what sources were telling us and other people that everything was just kind of lining up the same, and it's for Monsters or How to Train Your Dragon. Who knows with those? But I think it'll be, when a park opens up on that land, it will be a park very different from what it was supposed to be. But
Yeah.
They have to go forward with it eventually.
Well,
unless this entire industry is not going to survive long term.
Well, that's the thing, is that I feel like right now they have the opportunity to really, it's Nintendo. That's their new Harry Potter that has the potential to make this insane amount of money for them, in that same way that they cashed in when they were able to build the Wizarding World of Harry Potter. It seems like anytime they really invest in a giant new land, something happens, because it was the crash, it was the housing market crash and the recession when they started building the first Wizarding World, and now they're like, oh well, we'll invest in a new thing, and they're like, well, pandemic. So they don't have the best of luck when they really set out to do one of these giant projects, but I feel like the end result of what they get is always they deliver. And so I think they are going to have to push through with Nintendo some way or another. And you might be right, where they have to figure out how to incorporate it into their park here, because, the excitement around just the clips that have been coming out of Japan, of the like couple of videos and pictures we've seen of them with like testing it at night and stuff, are just mind-blowingly cool.
Oh, incredible.
Yeah, and so like, you want to get people back into your theme park and to really have that experience, this is your chance, because the amount of money they're going to make on Nintendo merchandise alone, I'm sure, is going to be insane.
Yeah, I mean, that's just thinking about how during this entire stay-at-home time, that one of the hardest items you could possibly get is a Nintendo Switch right now, and it's basically been sold out this entire time. So there is a hunger for Nintendo right now that is unlike anything else. And then when you double that with exactly what you said, the excitement over it coming to Universal Studios Japan, and the photos and videos that we've seen of what it looks like, it will it will be an absolute game changer, and we've known that for a long time, and now we want to see how much it changes the game. And so now it's all a question of where it's going to end up and when it's going to open, which we could sit here and read a crystal ball day in and day out and never come up with an answer for that. So we will move on to talk about other things. And the next thing we want to mention is, I did briefly say there with Epic Universe being paused that there were some layoffs with it, from what I understand, a reasonable chunk. So I do want to mention too that it's so that hearts go out to everyone out there who had to have this heartbreak during this time of losing a job with the company that they love and were very dedicated to. I can't imagine how painful that is, on top of everything we've all been going through as well too. So just wanted to make sure I said that our hearts go out to all of those in the Universal family, because even though we're not in the Universal family, I feel like Universal has this bond between everyone that it's just universal. So.
It can feel a lot more. I see what you did there. It can feel a lot more personal, I guess. Mm-hmm. It feels so much closer, and there's I think how people describe Disneyland and their relationship with their annual pass holders. I think that what we have in Orlando is Universal has that sort of relationship with their pass holders. They've got a very devout group of people who are, when you are passionate about Universal, you're not just a little bit passionate, you're very passionate. And so it is one of those, it feels so much more local, even though there is a Hollywood edition of it and stuff, but it is just it's a bummer. You can say I'm sad that Halloween Horror Nights didn't happen, but I also think wow, how many characters, the people who planned it, the people who run it, how many lost job opportunities there are that people, it's a big cut to a lot of people's, livelihood.
Yeah. Well, you brought up Halloween Horror Nights, so I shared my thoughts about the cancellation last week. Do you have anything you want to say about it?
I am sad about it because, throughout all this thing, Halloween was kind of the goal. We're like, okay, if we all stick together and we all can come together, which doesn't really happen, but we can save Halloween, and now it really feels like that's not what's happening. So it's a little bit of a bummer, and I do think Halloween the holiday can still happen in some way or another. It's up to you, but it's unfortunate because it is that big. For somebody like me, I really enjoy, movies. I really enjoy, art and the process of building stuff and creating things, tangible things. You can see the hoverboard behind me if you're watching this. I made that hoverboard. I enjoy making things things you see into a reality, and it just. I know a lot of that passion is there for people at Halloween Horror Nights, so it is really sad, for these ideas that have been in development for however long, since last year or before, that kind of just, you're working toward, and then just all of a sudden, everything hit the fan, and then it's kind of like your passion is, it's pulled out from under you. And so it's sad for those of us who love the event, and I feel like it's even sadder for those who were involved in the event, and it is a bummer, but I am looking forward. I think that they will do, when they come back with the event in next year, hopefully it will be bigger and better than ever. I think they're going to really make up for the fact that it couldn't happen this year. I was kind of hoping whatever they had done, if they had finished, let's say there was a Beetlejuice house, I don't know, let's say that was truth and they had gotten a certain way through it. They could have just opened it and made it a walkthrough attraction for smaller groups of people. But I do understand where it's a cost benefit of analysis too. How many people need to be in the house versus how many people are coming to the park? How much money are you making?
Yeah. So I've heard a lot of stuff about it. And, there was also the questions with I think I brought it up last week when I kind of went on my monologue about it, but there was the different tactics that before the event got shelved of thinking about how they were going to do it. Would they space out the people in the house and kind of send, your group in waves through, but then also like what do you do with do you put up plexiglass barriers and stuff? Like there was all these questions that in terms of operationally making it happen, it just seemed like it was going to be a long shot to ever get something that was perfect and make everyone happy. But you know, there's houses done, and it's a shame that we don't get to see them. But it's hopefully the better ideas can survive to next year and
Well,
remain
that's what I was
intact.
like. I'm hoping they just kind of leave them. That they don't. I mean, I'm sure they need to utilize some of the spaces in different ways that they had already closed down and stuff. But that's where I'm like, okay, well, whatever you had and you were doing good, this could hopefully do well for next year, because then the budget next year doesn't have to be as big because you're already halfway done with the year because you already had finished stuff. But the plexiglass thing too, you know, that's an interesting idea. And let's say that was the idea, that you walk down kind of a plexiglass hallway, but I do think, like, how do you get that all in place everywhere in a safe manner for people in the amount of time that they would have had for that to have been a thing too? And then how many people are like, oh, well, that's not as fun because now I'm behind a barrier.
And for those of us who have been to Universal Studios Hollywood's Halloween Horror Nights, they already were living it all the time. Is black hallways with nothing, and then just poke your head through the whole type scares. So they would have been set for anything that they needed.
Yeah.
So.
Well, it's a bummer that I was hoping we would get at least like one house and it could just stay up for the year or something, you know, even if it was just like the anniversary house or something. And so that's a little bit of a bummer, but that's just me because I love Halloween and I want to see that. You know, we get Christmas shops that are open all year, but where are the Halloween shops?
Well, that's a good segue that the HHN Tribute Store did open up this past week, and it features a handful of merchandise that is basically, I'll say, stuff that's more broad. You know, obviously it's marketed with like 30 years of Halloween Horror Nights and such, but it's not focused on this year's event as much as it is remembering the past events, merchandise from the icons of Halloween Horror Nights. So they still, of course, went through with that tribute store, and it's available anytime you visit Universal Studios Florida. It's random days have been seeing it kind of build up a pretty long line, but I haven't had the chance to get inside the store yet and see it. I've only been seeing the pictures of it, the Frankenstein room, and then the icons room as well too, and it looks very, very neat. But none of the merchandise was really calling to me enough to say, like, I need to, you know, one of my park days that I'm going to go to, I'm going to make sure I go out of my way to go to the tribute store. Nothing's jumped out to me, so I haven't done that yet, but I'll get there in the next week or two, probably, to check it out and see what's going on in there. But it helps that there's a selection of merchandise that you can also buy online. If you're not here in Orlando, you can still get some of that HHN tribute stuff, and other stuff hasn't been added to the store yet, but it is there and available for you. So there is HHN shopping, but not year round, not yet, at least, not yet.
No, not yet. So I don't. The tribute store is the thing where it's. My friend went this weekend and he was like, "Oh, do you want to go?" And I ended up having to do something else, but I was like, maybe. I don't know. I want to see it just because I'm like, well, if we don't have a haunted house, this is the closest thing I'm going to get to a haunted house. Like, I don't know.
That is true. So I'm doing, basically, I said one park a week as I need, and I'm just going to rotate it around to different ones. So I'm getting close to going back to Universal, but I just, I need to get that motivation. I'm also not super in the Halloween spirit yet because it's only August. And
hey, August is the beginning of Halloween.
And the calendar I'm looking at still says July, so I'm really messed up in terms of times right now. So I'm a lost cause on that. But as the tribute store has opened, unfortunately, other attractions will be closing temporarily. And this kind of was the other news that came out of the weekend outside of the layoffs and such with everything at Universal. But there are select attractions that will be temporarily closed for the foreseeable future at Universal Studios Florida and Islands of Adventure. And those include A Day in the Park with Barney, Fast and Furious Supercharged, Kang and Kodos' Twirl and Hurl, Fear Factor Live, which was already closed anyways because they were trying to get Fear Factor Live ready for Halloween Horror Nights, so that's been closed. But then also Poseidon's Fury and Storm Force Accelatron. So in the meantime right now, those will all close effectively on Sunday, August 9th, and will no longer be available, and will there's rumors about how long they'll be through the end of the year, maybe even beyond that. Not quite sure at this point, but those will be closed, and the team members, fortunately, who are in those roles will not be losing their jobs or furloughed or anything. They are being moved to other attractions, but Universal did say that they were doing this to focus on the big guest experiences. So I think it's hilarious that they're stepping back and saying, you know what, Fast and Furious Supercharged, not one of our big experiences.
That was the one when they said it was closing. I was like, oh, that is not doing as well as I think they'd hoped it would. So
I'm surprised about Poseidon's Fury because, I get on, at least every other day and look at wait times and such. And Poseidon's Fury, I'm never not surprised to see it with like a 20-minute wait. And a lot of, I constantly seen people who do experience Poseidon's Fury post about how it's been having to break down into the smaller groups and being in a more intimate experience. The experience of going through Poseidon's Fury is actually better than it's ever been. So that one caught me off guard a little bit. But, A Day in the Park with Barney, Fear Factor Live, Storm Force Accelatron, there wasn't really a surprise there. Every time I've gone to the park so far, I've seen people on Kang and Kodos's, but it's been like usually two cars are full, so I guess I understand that too. But it's I'm just happy that the team members who are working at those attractions get to stay on and get moved for the time being. But if any of those are your favorite attractions, you only have a limited time now to see them before we don't know the next time that they'll open back up. So Ryno will be going for Supercharged. I know that.
Oh, I was going to go say, how do you do to Mr. Peekaboo?
I wish we could go into the peekaboo jokes that we were going into before, but they would seem really heartless, and
yeah,
we don't need to deal with that. So it's unless you have any peekaboo jokes you want to slip in there.
No, that was the best I could do. Was the how do you do? That was the most, because the other ones were not great. I felt terrible.
No, they all weren't bad. Like the one you said, you wonder if they're gonna let Mr. Peekaboo still live in his house.
Yeah, like he gets to stay there, but he doesn't. It's no more attraction, but he gets to live in the house. So I was like, well, that'd be nice.
Yeah, and my hopes is that they let Mr. Peekaboo join the Jason Bourne Stuntacular and really get to stretch his legs with stunts and such. But we'll have to wait to see the future of Mr. Peekaboo coming up here. But speaking of what is coming up, where are we at on the list of things to talk about? So one of the things to mention too in all of this, cutting, all of that. It was kind of, I want to say it happened 2 weeks ago now, even so I'm late on bringing it up, but I also sometimes forget that some topics are more important to other people than others are. But the park hours were kind of quietly rolled back a little bit there, chopping off an hour during the day. So now, let me get the actual good park hours up in front of me right now.
Oh, I say it was like 10 to 6, right?
Yeah, right now it's
9 to 5.
9 to 5. 9 to 5 and 10 to 6. So 9 to 5 for Universal Studios Florida and 10 to 6 for Islands of Adventure. So chopping back the hours a little bit there. So keep that in mind if you are if you're coming down that bit tighter hours right now. When the sad part is for Universal annual pass holders who have the premier passes, it's just like even more time chipped away now from your express after 4 passes. And which, hey, it happens. But that's a good way to segue into Universal Annual Pass Holder Days that is starting August 10th. Through the end of September. So that is still going to be going off regardless of the fact that the state of the world is at the place that it's in. And the Pass Holder Appreciation Days, of course, are a time to Universal to say, hey, we appreciate all of you annual pass holders out there. And again, it is kind of hilarious considering that's basically who's going to the parks right now more than anyone else. So it's basically been Pass Holder Appreciation Days since it reopened. But whole lot of stuff for annual pass holders, of course, to partake in during this time. Mostly the big thing is exclusive food. So an exclusive menu for pass holders that they'll have all throughout Universal property. And it's actually a lot of items. I think it's like 30 items total.
Oh, gosh.
Give or take.
See that many.
Yeah, you have to click on, there's like links that say like, look at the PDF menu. And you see them also like, it's weird how they break it down. But at Cafe 4, there's going to be margarita pizza fries. At Cowfish, there's going to be Captain a Crab, 2 crab cake sliders topped with jellyfish jelly, served on a bed of arugula.
Interesting.
And so there's stuff like that. There's at Cahola Reef Restaurant and Social Club at Volcano Bay. There's a glazed pork belly pizza. At Lombard's, there's seafood caldo verde. At Mel's Drive-In, there's going to be a barbecue brisket burger. At Finnegan's, ale braised beef short rib sliders. At Mythos, a Mediterranean lamb bowl. At Confisco, a roasted cauliflower steak. At Antojitos, Mexican I did not look this up, and I'm going to butcher it. So there's a special item at Antojitos for you. At Margaritaville, crispy chicken sandwich in paradise. I believe it's the cheeseburger in paradise, but done as a crispy chicken sandwich. At NBC Sports, you have a Tex-Mex burger. Pat O'Brien's Creole crawfish. At Starbucks, they're bringing back the candy bar frappuccino. Cinnabon, an Oreo classic roll. Twosome will have a new chocolate waffle. At Cold Stone, We Love You s'mores. It's brand new. Red Oven will bring back their Dolce Amici. Then Voodoo will have their pass holder exclusive donut. And then, what? Also cocktails. At Pat O'Brien's, Bob Marley, the Dockside Kiosks will have a mellow yellow cocktail, a mango Margaritaville tequila, lime and salt margarita. At Pat O'Brien's, Bob Marley, and those kiosks, there will be a Blue Lagoon cocktail, I assume based on the movie, because that's relevant. And then at Pat O'Brien's, Bob Marley, and the 2 kiosks again, we have a Purple Power cocktail. So that's the full list of all the different special menu items just for pass holders. Does that leave you feeling special right now, Ryno?
Yeah, pretty much, I guess. It's a lot. It's a lot. How am I going to eat all that food in a month?
I know, right? So
I'm afraid to eat at a theme park. How am I going to get any of it? The donut, though, I'm tempted because it was like strawberry lemonade filling, Bavarian cream filling or something.
Donuts are always a solid choice and easy to take home. So I will say that much. And of course, there'll be there's a new button and magnet for pass holders as well that I believe is all already available now, but also part of showing your annual pass holder pride, as well as a souvenir popcorn bucket exclusive to annual pass holders that will cost $7.99, and then you get 1 free refill. So exclusive merchandise that they'll have. Ryno, what was the one random thing that we saw in the email that they're going to offer annual pass holders?
That it's going to be premium peacock.
Yeah.
So hold on, I have it. I had it. Whoops, I had it. Sorry, my camera just like turned itself off and back on, and that's never happened to me before. So it was a really weird thing.
You're fine.
Okay, it's still recording. I got nervous. You're getting Peacock Premium for 90 days, I think they said. They're going to send out invitations on August 17th, 2020, in 90 days. And then you have to make sure that you select not to have it, though, because afterwards, otherwise they'll start charging you $5 a month for it, which is a service that you can already check out for free, but they're giving you the non-commercial one. And Premium includes like the Saved by the Bell show and whatever exclusive shows they've made. The regular version, you don't get to watch the exclusive shows, just the shows already in existence.
Yeah, and some of they have Superstore behind the paywall on there if you don't have Hulu for some reason, but you want to get your Superstore fix, you have to have Peacock Premium in order to get it on Peacock. So little random things like that, but a very interesting way to say, hey, thanks for being a pass holder, but a decent one nonetheless, I guess. They'll have the dedicated turnstiles at the parks for annual pass holders. Premier pass holders will get a dedicated parking lane at the toll plaza, which is nice. Nice thank you there. Early park admission during select dates for Premier and Preferred pass holders. You get early park admission all the days of August and September, but the Power and Seasonal pass holders get the random days, weekdays only. Early park admission to Volcano Bay if you have that as part of your pass. A discount on Universal Express if you need it. So there's just lots of ways they're saying thank you to all their pass holders. So that's going on through the end of September. And then let's say you're not a pass holder, thinking about joining the pass holder family, all that stuff, want to dip your toes into it. So right now there's a special ticket that you can get at Universal, Ryno. What is that ticket?
It is a 2-park 1 day buy a day promotional ticket. And this does it have a special name? This is for Florida residents. You can buy a day visit now through December 24th for free.
It's a little wordy.
What?
It's a little wordy on the name of the deal.
Yeah, get access to both Universal Studios Florida and Islands of Adventure anytime each day for the price of 1 day through December 24th. I had to read it a couple times because I was thinking, oh, well, you're buying the ticket and, because they have flex pricing and stuff that I was like, oh, well, it just stays the same price all year and you're just going. But no, it's you buy the ticket and then you can visit any day of the year from now through December 24th. And the adult ticket is $164 plus tax. That's for 10 and up, and the child's ticket is $159 plus tax. That's 3 to 9. So, I had a friend text me about this and say this can't be right, like this deal, because it looks like it's a good deal, but it's at the time of recording this, it's already August, right? And so this would be if you went and got it now, you'd have August, September, October, November, December. Okay, 5 months. Like our pass that we have is the top pass, and I think when it was paid in full, it was like $550, and that's no blackouts and extra fees. The next one down is less than that. You can get a full year pass for not much more than this, and I feel like there's one in the $200 to $300 range, and. So I said to him where I was like, it's basically a preview pass, like because they had never been, and I said, well, you could do this. And it's a little bit of a less monetary risk involved, because you can go, you're paying the price of the 1 day, and if you like it, go back a couple times, and if it's not for you, then don't go back.
Exactly, and it's you can purchase it now through September 30th, and like you said, it's good through December 24th, and then once you get to peak, of course, it's not allowed in there. So it's great. And of course, it is only for Florida residents, so that's a caveat to it. You have to be a Florida resident to get this ticket, but if you can take advantage of it, it is that way of deciding once and for all. Are you going to become a pass holder? Is this something you're interested in? And so I do think it is a good way to dip your toes in the water, so to say, with this and see if it's something you're interested further. But it's
not to. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
Compare to the Disney stuff. I think it's kind of smart of them to make a ticket like this right now because it's a little less of that monetary risk, and then it's not as much. But there's so much restrictions with going to a park right now. With you have to wear the mask the entire time you're there. But also the advantage Universal has been having, other than Disney, is that Universal, as of right now, doesn't have park reservation days or anything like that. So you're going to be able to get more out of this than you would out of a park ticket for the other down the street. So it's interesting. I feel like it's smart because it's basically like they understand that maybe they're not getting a lot of one-day park ticket sales. So they're like, okay, well, we have to appeal to the people that live here because we know, I said it in the Universal video and I've said it in other videos that I don't know that I would say, oh, it's worth it for you to travel here and do this stuff. So I think it's smart of them to go, okay, well, people are here. So let's make it worth it for the people who are here because we know we can make money off of them on food and merchandise and things like that,
You see a lot of these kind of ticket deals usually at regional theme parks. You don't see them at big theme parks. I will say the last time I think I saw
it's a SeaWorld deal.
Yeah, it's SeaWorld has done it before. Busch Gardens has done it. My first annual pass I had for Universal Studios Hollywood was actually through this type of deal. I was just going to buy a 1-day ticket and they just happened to be offering you buy the 1 day and get the rest of the year for free. But that was even one where it wasn't you get the rest of the year free. You get a full year free off of it. So, that's how they do it at all the other smaller regional theme parks. So it's interesting that Universal's doing this take on it right now. But I mean, of course, yeah, they need to get people in the parks. They need to be making money. So it's cool to see, and something if you're a Florida resident, if you can take advantage of it, if it's something that you feel like is more attuned to what you would like, then give it a shot. Why not? It's interesting enough. So, yeah. But I don't have anything else, Ryno. Do you have anything?
No, I think that's kind of it, I guess.
Okay. Well, then I guess we will wrap this puppy up and send it to bed. I don't know if that's
little puppy.
I don't know if that's what people say, but that's what I'm going to say to this. So that's going to do it for our show. If you need any extra information, of course, you can head over to disunplugged.com, the home of the show notes page for this show and all the others on the Diz Unplugged podcast network. You can find links to our social media channels, plus so much more. And if you want to ask us any questions, random questions here, there, and everywhere, you can contact me on social media at Teleclaster. Ryno, where can they contact you at?
Oh, on any sort of social media, if you look for Ryno, RYNO1185, that's where you'll find me.
Very, very good. So, and if you're watching this on YouTube, please make sure that you subscribe to the Diz Unplugged on YouTube. Hit the bell so you get notified when we have any new videos being released, and then leave us plenty of comments, questions, and hit that thumbs up. It makes us happy when we see those thumbs up. And if you're listening to this on Apple Podcasts or Stitcher, Spotify, Google Play, please subscribe and leave us positive ratings and reviews when possible. So we really appreciate that. And of course, if you're planning on coming to Universal Orlando in the future at any time, we recommend, again, dreamsunlimitedtravel.com. The agents are experts at Universal as well as Disney and a lot of different locations. If you're looking for a vacation to the Orlando area or a cruise or anything, they're the ones to go to. So dreamsunlimitedtravel.com. Get a free, no obligation quote today. So thank you, everyone, for watching and listening. We appreciate it. Thank you, Ryno, for joining me.
Thank you.
And we will see you again next week with another episode of the Diz Unplugged Universal Edition. But until then, remember, we still haven't changed the name.